What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Stoush Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to walk you through tonight's 5-game slate, a nice reprieve from the big slates that are still upon us. Still 2 more 15-game slates to close out the season. Mike, how are you enjoying the 5-game slate today?
I'm loving it. I enjoyed the Suns game. Suns -5 made me sweat a little bit. Some bone stuff. You guys hit it on the playback. Love to see it. The man bet hit. That was nice. Took some Booker stuff. So the last night was great. Woke up, hiked Camelback. I'm feeling Samanai, aka Mamatar, was a great time. The AZ baddies were out, so that was nice. And I've got to say, one guy he killed me at the top of about 85% of Camelback. When you're almost done, it's pretty hard. So you're like tired. And this one guy, this Australian guy, he was like, "Hey, keep going. There's a topless girl at the top of the mountain." I was like, "Oh, what a great line! What a great line!" So shout out to that guy. But yeah, feeling fantastic. Not too much to talk about today, before we get nuts tomorrow and Sunday.
All right, let's get into the game-by-game stuff. Let's start with Chicago and Detroit. A big one for those of us who have Chicago over 30-7.5 season-long total win futures bets. The Bulls have questionable tags on Ayo Dosunmu, probable tag on Alex Caruso, and a doubtful tag on Andre Drummond. So what are your expectations for how the Bulls handle life likely without Andre Drummond tonight?
Yeah, actually, one thing, if we could just talk through motivations really quick, I did just want to tackle that. So let's talk through the winning motivations. We know that there's really 4 teams who are gunning here. This is from NBA PR. It's fantastic. So just the Pelicans and Kings are really motivated. We're going to see big minutes there. The Warriors and Knicks are really motivated. You could make a case that the Bulls are pretty motivated. Meanwhile, Detroit, they're not quite locked for number 1, but they're pretty close. So they're going to be looking to probably tank it up. I'll pull up Tankathon here. And then Utah is pretty locked. Houston basically has nothing to play for. And Portland's pretty locked to their seeding. So just wanted to tackle that because we kind of learned our lesson betting Mikal Bridges yesterday when the Nets started Noah Clowney and played their young guys. That was our bad. Bulls injuries. We saw Ayo Dosunmu miss the last game. Javonte Green played a ton. He'll do that again if they don't play. Pretty minor contusion. He would come out and play full if he did go. Caruso has been tagged with this, so he should be playing pretty full. Expect the Bulls. We saw the Hawks kind of sit it out, but Quinn Snyder said after the game that the double overtime game was like a back-to-back for them. So a little bit different situation. I'm expecting the Bulls to gun it. Should also note, everyone playing today is playing tomorrow. So for those teams who aren't motivated, and the teams specifically Boston, just be careful on overs or putting them in your DFS lineups. We'll talk about that later for sure.
All right. So on the Chicago side, without Drummond, what are the implications here for the Bulls?
Okay. Yeah, my bad. So Billy Donovan actually said after the game that they're going to do it situationally. We saw Adama Sanogo got in there for some minutes that weren't garbage, and he said they'll look at him or play small, and it'll be based on who the opposing center is. Detroit plays a true center the whole time, so I think there's a chance that we see him again, but they could play small. We've seen Torrey Craig at center a little bit. Curious to see how it goes, but it does definitely help Vooch's minutes. We've seen Vooch's ceiling come down a little bit to play Drummond, so we've seen right on the screen here 39 for him. So the Vooch minute ceiling is certainly going to be a lot higher in a matchup that is spotty. Sometimes Duran is good, sometimes he's not. Trey Jemison. So the centers are like Vooch benefits, maybe Sanogo, and then we'll see a little bit more. And then if you're moving Craig to the center, you're boosting a little bit Dalen Terry, boosting a little bit Javonte Green. Caruso will benefit, all that. Kind of a little bit of a trickle down.
All right, let's move to the Detroit side of things, where long list of out tags: Tosan, Fontecchio, Quentin Grimes, Isaiah Stewart, Usser, Thompson, Stanley Umude. Those are all been consistent for a week or two here. And then the Cade Cunningham questionable tag. What are your expectations for if we see Cade tonight?
Don't know. He gets this Q tag every game now. They are on the front end of a back-to-back against Chicago today, and then tomorrow they are at Dallas. So you make a case that this is the more winnable game of the two. So you could make a case that you sit him today, play him tomorrow. If you wanted to play him in one, they might sit him in both. We don't know. Obviously, if he didn't play, it would be Marcus Sasser starting. Jaden Ivey, who shot the lights out, much to our chagrin, against the Sixers. Those guys will pick up a lot of handling. Malachi Flynn, no more 50 balls, but he's locked in the minutes. Really strong game from Evan Fournier off the bench. Tough shots too. He was taking dribble fadeaways, all that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. But yeah, I don't have a great read on Cade, and I will add, if Cade is starting, be careful. The Pistons are notorious habitual line steppers on late scratches.
Yeah, would note that for Detroit, this is their last home game of the year. So I think they're probably more likely to play Cade than not, but we'll see. Someone in chat asking if Cade is from Dallas. I actually don't know where he grew up, but
he's Texas boy.
But yeah, there's some competing interests there for sure with the last home game of the year. All right, let's move on to the Knicks and Boston. On the Knicks side, their injury report is straightforward. Just Julius Randle listed out. They have the opportunity on that graphic you showed to get all the way up to the number 2 seed in their pursuit here. And, you know, it's an interesting dance in the Eastern Conference right now because ultimately I think teams are going to be trying to avoid Philadelphia the best they can. And now Philadelphia, because of their recent win streak, because of Orlando and Cleveland losing games, has a wide range of outcomes on where they can land. You can see on the graphic there between 5 and 8. So I don't think Tom Thibodeau is, interested in manipulating anything other than getting wins. I think that's his primary focus here. So wouldn't expect any change to rotations. But what are your notes here on the Knicks?
Yeah, I'll add on top of the front end of back-to-back, don't forget there's 3 more games to go. So a game and a half may not seem like much, but you got 3 to go. Like, you got to take care of your business. So I think they're going to be gunning here. So we should see some pretty strong minutes. Obviously, we know we get the 46 from Hart, like that's standard. Jalen Brunson, man, just absolutely owns Alex Caruso this season. He's been fantastic. So, but yeah, pretty straightforward. Ran real tight, basically ran 7 with a little bit of Boyan mixed in there. So yeah, I expect pretty tight rotation here against their division rivals, even though it may not be all of their rivals. Well, expecting some sitting on the Boston side, that is.
Yeah, Boston side, you mentioned we've seen a lot of back-to-backs down the stretch for Boston's schedule. They've navigated them by kind of resting one at a time. I tried to get in front of this and bet on New York last night at Pick'em and have lost some closing line value because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both listed available. So is Al Horford. They've got questionable tags on Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Xavier Tillman. It's an interesting spot from Boston's perspective because I think many people would think that right now the biggest threats from Boston's perspective would be Milwaukee, New York, Philadelphia. That's probably the totem pole that most people are thinking of. That's coincides with our totem pole that we did a podcast on earlier this week. And there's a chance for Boston, if they lose, to help continue to funnel Milwaukee, New York to the 2-3 area, which, look, they can't really control Philadelphia's situation. They don't have any ability to move the needle on that, but they do have to move the needle here, which is why I was thinking we might see a little bit more from Boston than we are seeing. Now, we also have seen Boston 2 out of the last 3 games not play their guys into the fourth quarter, just kind of like normal rotations through 3 and then bench players all fourth. Then last game against Milwaukee, they play their main guys in the fourth. So it's very difficult to predict what Boston's intentions are here. You mentioned they still have 3 games here in the final 4 days. What are you thinking we'll see from Boston tonight?
Yeah, I think they're going to, the Qs are going to be out, right? Like, they're not going to play them both in a back-to-back. They've been pretty good at announcing like who they're going to sit. Really, since they've clinched home court, they've been sitting guys. So we kind of know the deal. They're not playing guys too much down the stretch as well. So yeah, again, like this team has no motivation, 0. Like, they are locked and loaded. They don't care. I 100% agree with you about trying to funnel the Knicks and Bucks to the 2-3. But yeah, be careful again. Like, there could be some light minutes. Don't have too much to add. I will add there was a really interesting lineup that the Celtics used in this Milwaukee game. They used 6 minutes of Drew Holiday, Derek White, Sam Hauser, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. 6 minutes of it. That's a lot for a lineup that's pretty unusual against a pretty big team. So that was a fun lineup out of them. Just wanted to note that. But yeah, without assuming no KP, like Horford's going to start for sure. And then they want to, like, again, my point here with that lineup I just noted, they're trying new stuff. Missoula's talked about, hey, let's throw this out there, see what it looks like, and then maybe we have some options in the playoffs. So you would think it's going to be Sam Hauser on the other spot, but it might not be. They might mix it up. They might throw something out there. Maybe it's Pritchard, something like that. So, but I'm pretty sure they're going to start Horford.
All right, let's move to Houston and Utah. On the Houston side of things, they've got Amen Thompson listed available tonight. They're still without Jayshawn Tate, Alperen Sengun, Tari Eason, and of course Steven Adams. What are your notes here on the Rockets?
Yeah, we noted that on Tuesday that was their first game that they were eliminated, right? So it was like, okay, maybe they'd mix it up. They didn't. They jammed everybody. And then after the game, Udoka had mentioned like, hey, yeah, we want to go out strong. I think that was their last home game too. Yeah, that was their last home game. So maybe it's different on the road. I don't know. But yeah, we'll take them at their word. Fred VanVleet was fantastic. They put Jalen Suggs on Jalen Green, and that really got Fred VanVleet going. They didn't cover him well enough at all. Orlando, sad for our Magic. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll believe him. If they said they want to kind of go out on a high note, they're like locked in to their seeding basically. So, well, go for it. Why not? Play your guys. That's not like they're any of their like their lowish guys. Well, that's actually a little surprising. Cam Whitmore got nuked. That was a little bit of a surprise. So yeah, I don't know. He's kind of doghouse. I talked about this a couple times. Like people ask him about Whitmore, and like he just phrases it so poorly. He talks about all the bad stuff, which is like so like Udoka's such a straight shooter for all of his guys. I kind of love it.
Yeah, and I would note that you see that record up there in the top right corner, 39-40. I do think sometimes teams, when they get around this mark, the idea of having a winning season, even though there's that's something to hang your hat on, especially when Houston came in with really modest expectations this year, 31.5 team win total. So, to be able to finish strong, and they've got 3 road games, but at Utah, at Portland, very winnable, and the Clippers will have nothing to play for, most likely. In that last game as well. So, they could easily close out on a winning streak here and end up with a, quote unquote winning season. Utah side of things, they are expert tankers at this point. Jordan Clarkson, John Collins, Chris Dunn, Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, and Colin Sexton all listed out today. They are not taking any chances. I appreciate the business that they're doing because I took them under 31.5 at one point early in the season, and I thought I was dead to rights. But here we are, and we are looking great on under 31.5. What are your expectations for what we see from Utah tonight?
Yeah, remember December we did the Utah is the hottest team in the NBA podcast.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago. But yeah, they're tanking, and as you noted, well done. Top 10 protected pick. They're going to hold it for sure. They're going to probably move up to 8. So they're like, they got it. Like, there's no way like 3 teams are going to hop over them. So, well done. So yeah, don't have too much to add. The thing to note was they did play pretty big. They played Luka Samanic at the 3. Now they're like, throw more size at Denver, but it might make more sense because we would have expected Bryce Sensabaugh to start, but your guard depth's kind of gone. So you're like kind of moving Bryce Sensabaugh as more of like a 2. And then you're playing your bigger guys there. So that's opened up for Darius Bazley and those guys. And yeah, we were on it. We talked about Omer Yurtseven playing a ton in Denver, and we were freaking on that one, 20 and 11. So matchup a little bit different here. Very different, I should say. So I'm not expecting the same kind of output from Yurtseven. And then Johnny Juzang continues to start. I think he's kind of got that locked in. And then Keontae could play a pretty good bit. Pretty tough matchup for him. He'll see some pretty difficult defenders. But yeah, expecting the same starting lineup here.
Okay, Golden State and Portland. Golden State highly motivated as they have worked their way to the 9 seed. And as you allude to on the graphic before, they have the ability to get into that 7-8 as well with some wins and a little bit of luck. They cannot avoid the play-in. They have to be in the play-in. But if they can get to 1 potential win instead of 2 potential wins, it does shift your odds dramatically in terms of getting into the tournament. They've got questionable tags on Klay Thompson with right knee tendonitis and Draymond Green with a right knee contusion. Dario Saric also listed questionable, though he has not been a part of the rotation of late. What are your expectations for what we see from Golden State? Again, another team with 3 games in the last 4 days here. They're winnable, but they also, kind of need to manage their guys a little bit because they also are going to play again on Tuesday or Wednesday in a play-in situation. So what are your expectations here for the questionable tags on the Warriors?
Yeah, so they play an easy one today at Portland. Portland gives some teams some tough times. So they might, and they have a tough game tomorrow. They are hosting the Pelicans. Poor Pelicans, man. They've got a hard schedule to close. So there's a chance. I think so. Draymond did post game media. I didn't listen to his podcast yet. I don't know if you did or heard anything, but he seems like he's more likely to play. So, maybe they sit Clay. Clay's been playing a lot, been playing pretty well. If he sat, they would start Brandon Podziemski. I don't think they would start that big with Kuminga. And then if Draymond sat, they would start Kuminga there. But they seem pretty locked in. Obviously, they're playing great. Shot the lights out against the Lakers. So that's pretty much it. But I think they might sit. Well, hey, we should be able to handle this without one of you guys. Whoever's more banged up, sit. And then, they're half the minutes on the Blazers are rookies and not even good ones. So they should be able to handle business. They're rested today. Tomorrow they're going to want to make sure they're rested for hashtag biggest game of the year for them.
Yeah. In chat, someone asking about the tiebreaker situation with the Warriors and the Lakers. The Warriors hold the tiebreaker over the Lakers with a 3-1 season series win on that. So the Lakers need a lot of help to get past the Warriors at this point in time. All right. Portland side of that game, they are listing just out everybody. Malcolm Brogdon, Tamani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simons, Matisse Thybulle, and Robert Williams. Thankful for Portland finally listing Jeremy Grant out after a slew of doubtful tags for the last 2 months. What are your expectations on what we see from Portland tonight?
Yeah, major Derek Favors, doubtful for a month, if anybody remembers that. I remember having to blurb it for Roto-World, oh, God, I got to blurb Derek Favors doubtful again. Anyways, I'm still mad about it, in case you can't tell. But yeah, Scoot, man, career high 15 dimes. He's been playing pretty well. Didn't play great. He's terrible defensively, but he's got massive handling role. Been a pretty big factor. So we know the starting lineup. It's going to be Scoot, Rupert, Ayton, Chris Murray, and Jabari Walker, who's been playing very well. And then we're actually Ashton Haggins has still 2 more left, so they might sit Haggins today, or maybe they sit him another day. So keep an eye on that, and maybe they're back to back, so maybe they play tomorrow and sit someone. I don't know, but we're on. I am very deliberate at keeping an eye. I'm perhaps more concerned about Ashton Haggins than Ashton Haggins family. Anywho, yeah. So expecting the same rotation here. Again, they're playing 8, so you're getting garbage. You can kind of play your Blazers. Warriors are good defense though, so not too much of a payoff.
And then the game of the night, New Orleans and Sacramento from a seeding play-in perspective. This is the most meaningful game. New Orleans has had Sacramento's number in a very, very big way this season. So interesting spot tonight for New Orleans side. Najee Marshall listed questionable, still without Brandon Ingram here. And then Larry Nance was added to the injury report as unavailable due to a personal reason today. So what are your expectations from what we see from New Orleans here?
Yeah, that's a big loss on Larry Nance with the way this game's going to go. And they've been running a lot of offense through him. So very big loss. Obviously, Valanciunas, I've got some Joe Val Stales that I hit because I have Pelicans on my alerts. But anyways, so go Joe Val tonight. Anyways, yeah, he's got a way higher ceiling. They'll probably bring in a little bit of Jeremiah Robinson Earl to fill some minutes. Maybe they go a little bit smaller. I think having Najee Marshall would swing how that would go. If they have Najee, they'd be probably a little bit more likely. Najee can certainly play a lot of forward. They're playing, Zion. They're playing Zion a lot of minutes. We've seen the 40s out of him. So this is, again, big minutes here. We could see a lot of 40s. Trey, CJ, Zion, Joe Val get to 30, maybe, please. Herb's been playing a lot. So those guys are going to play a bunch. Alvarado and Dyson Daniels would play more if Najee Marshall couldn't play. And then, also Trey Murphy's ceiling would be really high. The Pelicans are in a tough spot, man. They get this game today, and then they got to go to Golden State tomorrow. But they got no choice. They're falling fast. As we mentioned, they could fall all the way down to 10 if they're not careful. So, and again, the schedule is absolutely brutal to close.
Yeah, it is a difficult schedule for New Orleans, but they're not that far away from being able to secure things because they have a game lead on Phoenix, or excuse me, a game lead in the loss column on Phoenix. If they're able to win tonight, they are up 1 with 2 to play. They do not have the tiebreaker against Phoenix. They'd be guaranteed to finish at worst with a win tonight, at worst 7th. Because they have the tiebreaker over Sacramento. and they'd be 3 games up in the loss column on Sacramento, the Lakers, and Golden State. So from New Orleans' perspective, I think it's very, very simple. If we win tonight, yes, the rest of the games are difficult and challenging and whatnot, but we're okay. We're in pretty good shape because we just need our magic number then is 2. We just need 1 win or in 1 Phoenix loss or 2 wins to secure 6. So there's a decent chance. If you lose tonight, everything goes wrong for New Orleans. So I think I think you can expect very, very heavy minutes from New Orleans tonight and emphasizing this game over tomorrow. Like I think if they had to play like guys 40, mid 40s or something like that and said like, forget it tomorrow, I think that's in the range of outcomes. I don't think it's the most likely outcome, but I would just note that like this game is so much more important for them than tomorrow's game with the information we have right now.
For sure. And my bad on the Whitmore stuff. He did get ejected. He was drawn with Joe Ingles. I slipped my mind there. Tough to do with 14 games. My bad.
All right. Sacramento side of things, they're still without Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, and they've got questionable tags on Jordan Ford and Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray's had this questionable tag the last few games, seemed to be able to play through it. Obviously, huge game tonight. What are your expectations for Keegan?
He's going to play. I'd be pretty shocked. Again, looked fine. I didn't notice anything how he was playing, so it should be pretty full go. Yeah, really tough loss for the Kings. They are also really falling. Again, making the Warriors quite live. I don't have enough Warriors exposure in my best ball teams, apparently, because I have 0. But yeah, so they're gunning. We're going to see, 43 out of Fox. He's been playing a ton. They play tomorrow, Phoenix. So that's a tough back-to-back. They're at home. Phoenix, obviously, coming in highly motivated with a new rotation. So, but yeah, they got, they're, competing as much with the Pelicans. So I'm expecting, again, like we're going to see over under 4 players hitting 39 tonight, like 3.5, over under 3.5 players with 38.
38.5 is a tougher, but 39 I would have taken under, but I'd probably still take under on those numbers. But I mean, the guys that are most likely are obviously Fox, Keegan, CJ and Zion. Like those are the guys that are most likely certainly there.
Trey could be in there,
yeah, but it'll be hefty. I think I think Sacramento is in a tougher situation than New Orleans, even though they've got these games at home, and they don't have to travel with this stuff. Like the fact that New Orleans knows if they win tonight, they get Sacramento playing Phoenix tomorrow in a game that Sacramento still needs desperately, right? Yeah. So you've got some outs for New Orleans if you win tonight. Sacramento, even if they win tonight, that certainly improves their odds of staying in the first play-in, but their odds of 6 are just really thin. They got to win out, and they at least control the teams that they're playing in front of them, but their schedule is tough to be able to win out. So we'll see how that all goes. But that's it from an injury perspective. Any other notes before we get out of here, Mike?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm excited for the last normal slate. Find a new slant, but nice little easy one. With a couple late games, it should be an easy night tonight. Famous last words.
Exactly. All right. That'll do it for this edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. As always, if you're interested in supporting our content, the best way to do so is to subscribe to our YouTube channel, get notifications by hitting that bell whenever we go live on new content. We're in pursuit of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year on the YouTube channel, so would appreciate your help in helping us get there by subscribing, letting friends know about the content that we're producing here if they would enjoy it. If you're interested in checking out any of our premium product offerings, which, look, our NBA, DFS stuff, our prop stuff, it all goes through the playoffs. So any subscription that you're looking for isn't ending at the end of the week. We go through the playoffs, cover the whole playoffs with all the usual content, all the usual approaches that we do whenever there's NBA games on. If you're interested in the playoff best ball rankings and playoff best ball premium podcast, you just need a DFS subscription. So check out one of those DFS subscriptions weekly, monthly. If you're interested in the playoff best ball rankings, you can find all the information on those product offerings at establishedrun.com/subscribe-MBA. All right. As always, if you want to help keep this free show, not premium, the best way to do so is to help feed that algorithm, which helps feed our families and allows us to feed you the NBA injury information analysis you need each and every day to set your DFS lineups, your season-long lineups, and make your spread bets and your prop bets. The best way to feed that algorithm is to smash that like button. So smash that like button, feed that algorithm. Nom, 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 nom. We'll be back tomorrow.